have no mercy for those that come to disrupt the restoration of this struggle. We don't negotiate with anyone. We will never do that. Because when you do things like that, you encourage the same thing to be inside the government, and they will continue to do what they are doing. They said, added that sex.
Welcome, fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom across the world. I welcome you to this amazing platform. Thank you so much for joining me on today's program, and I wish you a very happy new year. Finally, we are now in the year 2025, and as we proceed in the year 2025, we must not forget that we have a lot of responsibilities. Our responsibility in this platform is to give you information and make sure that you have an update on what is going on in Biafra land, more especially things that has to do with the restoration of independent state of Biafra. Today, I am going to share with you a very important video. Please pay attention to this video. In all the information that we see here, you are going to see that they have started again a new deceit to distract us from the restoration of independent state of Biafra. We must not be distracted. It is either Biafra or nothing. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said it to us, and he has not changed his mind. If anybody tries to insinuate that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have changed, that is a lie. Watch this video from beginning to the end. You will understand that the enemies will never give up. And those of us who are focusing on the restoration of Biafra, we must not give up. Do not get distracted, regardless what you hear or what you see. Always remember that it is Biafran first. All eyes must be on the rising sun. Every eye must be on the rising sun. Do not allow yourself to be carried away with things that are happening around you. The restoration of independent state of Biafra is one thing that we must focus on. We have the United States of Biafra now. Let's watch.
Now, the Court of Appeal in Abuja upheld the classification of the indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, as a terrorist organization, dismissing their appeal and reaffirming the Federal High Court's decision. The ruling, which sparked controversy, declared Ipob's activities as threats to Nigeria's security and existence. Now, despite these attempts by Ipob to overturn the prescription, the court maintained that the federal government acted lawfully. The original prescription order issued by the late Chief Judge Abdul Kafarati in 2017 remains in place, banning all Ipob activities, especially in the southeast and south-south regions of Nigeria. This decision has reignited debates on the legal and political implications of labeling Ipob as a terrorist organization. Let's come back to the studio where we still have Dr. Dayo Kayode. Dr. Kayode, is it possible you tell us, the meaning of a terrorist organization? And does Ipob, in your estimation, in your assessment,
in my evaluation,
qualify as a terrorist organization?
Now, before you can say Ipob is a terrorist organization, you have to first of all look at their demands and how they are carrying out their activities. Their demands and how they are carrying out, their activities. Also, are they doing it in the open for everybody to see them? Or are they doing it in a hidden form, whereby you only hear their voices, you don't see their faces? All right. Now, let us go back to Spain, the Catalans. You remember?
Yes, the best.
The Catalans, were they declared terrorist organization? But rather, there was a voting. Okay? Also in England, Scotland, some years back. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, the Ipob people,
the Scottish vote of 2014.
Yeah. The Ipob people are saying, listen, we all Nigeria together. If you know you don't want to see us as a Nigerian, you don't want to give us our rights, then allow us to be on our own. allow us to pay on our own. Now, when you go to United Nations Charter that we are signatories to, when you go to AU Charter, African Union Charter, as regards secession, go to ECOWAS and also see there, and of which we are all signatories to. So why are you declaring them a terrorist group? Now listen, when this thing started, remember, we were having Boko Haram, ISWAP, and all that in the northwest, northeast, and all that. Were they declared terrorist group? The kind of arms and ammunitions that the federal government took to the east to be fighting your citizen that is demanding their rights, you cannot compare it to what they are using to fight Boko Haram and ISWAP. You understand?
Don't you think that the federal government is putting that kind of intense action against the terrorists because, according to the government, you know, Nigeria's unity is not negotiable?
Listen, I will give you an analogy. When you say Nigeria unity is not negotiable, I am somebody that believes in a cohesive Nigeria. That's what I have been preaching. Okay? I believe in cohesive Nigeria. But when you are talking about a cohesive Nigeria, there must also be principle of inclusivity. There must be principle. You must apply the principle of inclusivity in terms of activities of the government, government development, government policies, and all that. And you must always listen to them.
If you talk about inclusivity, does it look like a section of this country, like the IPOB, the Igbo, the Southeast people that we are talking about, do you think they have been excluded from the commanding heights of Nigeria's national life for people to pour into the streets and say, look, we want to exit Nigeria? Is there any form of exclusion?
I will give you an instance. Before Atiku Abubakar, His Excellency, decide to throw in the towel in last general election, he was talking about zoning to the south. Zoning to the south. And he was saying, if we are zoning it to the south, it has to go to the southeast. It has to go to the southeast. But we can come out and say, no, it cannot go to southeast. And some people here and there, they started flying all sorts of flags. That if they give their presidency, they will fight, they will remove themselves because they are the ones that fought civil war. Can a single person fight a war? If you are saying the Southeasterners are culpable of civil war, so also Nigeria is also culpable of civil war.
Yeah, but that was just a party affair. Does it look like it's
beyond party affairs. It's beyond it. Because at that time, when you see Igbos, when you see the Igbos, they were so vehement in saying, we want to go because you have not been including us in the affairs of this country.
Exactly my point. Is there any form of state policy like distribution, sharing of resources that you think has excluded the Southeast?
It's not, you don't need to look at the policy. You only look at the action plans.
Okay.
You only look at the actions. When you look at the actions, then you know that there is an intentional, unwritten policy going against, including of the Southeast in activities of Nigeria. So for anybody to now come out and declare Ipob a terrorist group, I don't think that person understands what he's saying. I don't believe so.
Okay.
Because you need to go into various charters of United Nations, of AU, of ECOWAS, that we are all part of the signatories.
All right. Thanks very much, Dr. Kayode. Now let's go back to our diaspora guest. Dr. Damages, let me come straight to you now. IPOB has been an appellate court, sitting in Abuja, has affirmed the decision of a lower court that says that, look, IPOB is a terrorist organization. in your understanding of what a terrorist organization is, what is the implication of this designation? And what does it portend, for the in pursuit of peace that has excluded the Southeast, coming as a result of what the Southeast has become, especially the sit-at-home, the unknown gunmen, and all of that? Do you think that this designation is going to put in more pressure on the people, on IPOB to how can I put it now? Is it going to end the crisis in the Southeast? Because look, IPOB is a terrorist organization, and now the government is going to come with a very big hammer, to ensure that they wipe out members of the IPOB. Is there anything like that? Do we anticipate any kind of thing in that manner?
Let me just start from the beginning. Okay. This is something we have to always remember. Most liberation movements in the world, in the history of the world, were at one point or the other called a terrorist organization. The African National Congress, the party of Nelson Mandela, was once called a terrorist organization. So that's nothing new, okay? Even in America here, during the civil rights movement, there were so many groups that were tagged terrorist organizations. So it's nothing new in the history of liberation movements. The question is, what does the Nigerian government want to achieve? It's up to the Nigerian government. It's their court that reaffirmed what another court in their land already said. And if IPOB were to take it to the Supreme Court, most likely their Supreme Court will reaffirm the same thing. But that's one part of it. The question is, what is Nigeria going to do to resolve the issue behind this conflict? This is not a move, to me, that is moving in that direction. And the government, this new government, is getting to 2 years now, also has followed the same pattern as the last one, which is to ignore it and think that something will change. On the part of the Southeast, okay, I don't think this was an issue, whether it's a terrorist organization or not, that for them. The issue is, what are they going to do to force the government to resolve the crisis? Because the Southeast is becoming, this is something that most people don't know, it's becoming a ghost. There's so many towns in the Southeast are ghost towns now. People don't live there. There may not be a formal IDP camp, but people in so many towns in Anambra State, in Imo State, have abandoned their localities because of insecurity. And what is the source of this insecurity? Is the activists, is the government, is the what they call local people who are fighting back. So it's a no-go area in so many parts of the Southeast. That's a story that is not out there. Most people are not talking about it, and it's something that worries people who are in the area. So my point is that the government going to get a declaration from the appeals court does not solve the substantial problem, which is, what are you going to do about the situation in the East and the demand of some young people in the East about their situation in Nigeria? That has to be handled. That's the more difficult thing. It's easy to get a court to make a pronouncement, and that doesn't solve any problem.
Dr. Damages, I asked the question in the light of the fact that this designation as a terrorist organization is also a call, to action on the security forces to intensify their efforts to ensure that they eliminate the IPOB. You see, in security studies, if there's a difference between designating someone a terrorist and probably someone as a criminal, a law enforcement criminal.
Well, Chukuma, the first time it was done was 2021, and it hasn't.
But in that 2021, another court in Enugu deproscribed IPOB, said no, IPOB is not a terrorist organization. It was on the strength of that Enugu court that the federal government now had to appeal. Which judgment was delivered? Do you think that the federal government has been dealing with IPOB as if they are considered? They are not considered a terrorist organization. Is that how they've been dealing with them since 2021? They've been dealing with them as if they are a terrorist organization. No, so I think they were being very careful that there was a subsisting court order. And now that
where do you see that? Where is the sign of the federal government being very careful?
No, exactly my point. with this designation now, are you sure that we are going to see a more intense effort on the part of government to wipe out IPOB?
I think the government is doing what they can do. If they had a solution, they will have used it. They don't have any solution to the problem down there. They are doing what they've been doing. I don't think they are going to intensify. What I think will happen, and this is what I want people in the Southeast, people from the Southeast, is that the moment they finish dealing with the issues in the Northeast and Northwest, they will bring their arms, their troops, everything down to the Southeast, and that's when it will be more dangerous. Okay. Right now, they are fighting on three fronts. They are fighting in the South, in the Northeast, they are fighting in the Northwest. So,
I like the fact that you mentioned the fight in the Northeast and the Northwest. How exactly the point? How soon do you think the war in the Southwest, in the Northeast and Northwest can end?
Yes.
Oh no, that. We don't know. They are not winning anywhere. The federal government is not winning anywhere. In the three fronts they are fighting, they are not winning. So there's no end. In fact, it's expanding in the Northwest. In the Northeast, you thought that after more than 10 years, or what am I saying, more than 15 years of fighting, that they will be making any inroads. But it's not. They are not succeeding anywhere.
Okay, then let's come back to the studio now. I think there's an issue that I need to tidy up with Dr. Kayode before I come back to you. Now, Dr. Kayode, you said something about the war in the Southeast, in the Northeast and Northwest not ending soon. What gives you that impression? Isn't the government doing enough? I mean, we have military buying drones, and there's so much, the APCs, they are requested for APCs and all of that. And there is this kinetic and non-kinetic approaches that the government is putting together to ensure that, look, the war is over. At the point, we heard that 300 of their kingpins have been eliminated and all of that. Do you think the government is not doing enough?
Whatever they are doing now, let us take a costly evaluation of it. Is the government intentional? Is the government intentional? Are they showing any kind of political will to end it? In terms of, you are buying drones, you are buying Tucano jets, you are buying APCs, you are buying this, you are buying that. Can those things fight on their own? Remember, sometimes they will say, okay, they are going to a particular area to go and dislodge those people. And before they get there, those people will have gotten information before they get there.
But we hear that Toriji Bello, is on the run. They killed his son, arrested his brother.
Is it today that their leaders have been on the run? Do you know how many leaders have been on the run? Do you know how many of their leaders they said they have killed? Remember the issue of Sambisa? When Lai Mohammed came out, that Sambisa they will overrun Sambisa in 6 months. By that 6 months, he said Sambisa all these people have been technically defeated. What do you mean by technically defeated? And the following day, they struck. So tell me, are they intentional about it? When you are buying equipment to fight them, are you supposed to be talking about it so that they will know what you are going to buy to fight them? You don't understand. So the question is also this. When you arrest some of them, why are you releasing them to the society? Why are you calling them
repentant
terrorists? Can the terrorists repent? Then how long can it take a terrorist to repent? A terrorist that over the years have been inculcated all those ideas of a terrorist. Another one you say, yes, somebody who had killed, maimed, raped in a society, and you are saying you are reintegrating that person to that society. How possible is that? No, how possible is that? And that's why I said our government is not intentional. They are not purposeful in ending these terrorist activities.
Okay, talking about being intentional and ending these terrorist activities, why is it difficult for this same government that has designated the IPOB as a terrorist organization? Why is it difficult for them to designate Mieti Allah, people who carry assault rifles like AK-47?
Who is Mieti Allah?
People who have gone to farms.
Who is Mieti Allah? What's the role of Mieti Allah in the 2015 election?
Dr. Kayode, hold on. People who have gone to farms to displace others, bandits that exploit our minerals, and all of this, like Kurawas and all of these people. Why is it difficult for the same government to designate them as terrorists? Because it will be a call, a commitment to action in rules of the military engagement.
And the question is also this. Why is it so difficult for that same government to go there and arrest these terrorists that are occupying various villages? Why is it difficult to go there, to that village, and arrest them? Two, what's the role of Niger-Comsat that has satellites in the orbit that is supposed to X-ray the whole country? What's their role? Three, who are the people that have been using aircrafts to drop water, food, utilities, and to all these terrorists in the bush? I mean, do you want to say you never read about it? We read about it. It's not you that can do it. I can't do it. Do I have the temerity to go and carry aircraft and do that? So who are the people doing that? So the issue is, like Aman Paul said, and our grandfather, that is always sending us money from the grave, Abacha, said. He said, any insurgents that any government cannot overrun within 24 hours, that government should also be seen as an accomplice.
All right, then. Thanks very much, Dr. Kayode. Now, let's go back to our diaspora guest. Sure, let me come to you. Sure, you live in Europe, you live in the UK, and there was this issue between the Northern Ireland and all the problems with the English people, Sinn Féin, Iran Republic Army, and all of that. At what point were they designated terrorists? And how much of that impacted on the independence of Northern Ireland? And can you help us, relate that to what is happening in Nigeria? Is there a possibility that this crisis that is brewing here could be resolved using the approach that they used to resolve that issue?
Well, it's very difficult to compare what is obtainable in this part of the world to what goes on in Nigeria, because the people in the West, they're not perfect. There's no perfection anywhere, especially when it's politics. It's always politicized. There's no gainsaying that. So to compare the two might be unfair, in the sense that the people here, they want solutions. Of course, everybody has their own selfish interest and things they want to get out of it. They have their own slanted angle and all of that, but they want solutions. And they're fairer people, at least to themselves, to one another. They see themselves as brothers. As much as they may have their differences, they still appreciate that they are brothers. They look alike. There's a similarity. In Nigeria and Africa, it's totally different how we treat, one another. So the stories that come out of Africa, you hear the stories of Congo and things we do to one another. It just makes you ask the question. I mean, are these guys not even worse than the colonizers, the current crop of leaders in Africa? In my opinion, they are worse than the colonizers. The colonizers, you can excuse them and say they looked at us and they thought we didn't look like them. They even think we're not humans. Or at the time, they thought we're not humans. And in some cases, they still think we're not humans. They liken us to, all sort of animals. But in the case of our own people, how does an Igbo man look different from a Yoruba man? What's the major difference? Of course, if you live in Nigeria, you might say some Igbo men, and if I see a Ghanaian, I might tell you that I can recognize a Ghanaian. But at the end of the day, there's still a lot of similarities. So why we treat one another this way, it baffles me. See, what they've done with this proscribing of Ipob as a terrorist organization is the common saying that you give a dog a bad name so that it's easy to hang the dog. And you said it, Chukuma, they will be more intense because now they've been given the liberty to go after them a bit more. To say, they're a terrorist organization. So let's go after them. Nobody can say, why are you fighting terrorists? Why are you killing them? Ipob, if I have any advice for them, because if when you say Ipob, it is the indigenous people of Biafra. Rudolph by birth is an Ipob member. KJ cannot excuse it. They are Igbos. Do you understand? Like saying an Oduduwa something or Afenifere or Moluabi something. By birth, I am one. There is no change in it. So if you say Ipob now, who is Ipob, who is not Ipob is the question. Any Igbo person is an indigenous person of Biafra. So if I have any advice for the Ipob people, when they come after you, if they catch you alive, tell them you've repented. They will do ashwebi for you. They will give you money. They might even reintegrate you into the Nigerian military. And they would promise you that you might become the Nigerian president because you've repented. Because we've seen it done before. And what is good for the goose is good for the gander. So if there's any advice, if they catch you, just tell them I've repented. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Like they've done for the people who are Boko Haram people. I mean, only recently, was it 2 days ago, that they went to Ondo State? And all these, these terrorist Fulani herders, and they killed 5 laborers in the field, in the farm, in Ondo State. We have problems that we're dealing with. You are adding to it. Okay, so Boko Haram, that is a terrorist organization, and this Lukaku or Lukarawa one, the new one that you've proscribed, what exactly have you done to them? What have you been able to achieve? How much success have you recorded? So now that you've said, okay, Ipob is a terrorist organization, okay, what's next? What are you going to do about it? So all these things, Yorubas will say, you've left leprosy, you are chasing ringworm.
You left the substance.
You understand? So all these things that they keep talking about, and you see some people, I've been given names. Oh, during the election, they called me names. You are normally, you are which translates loosely to a bastard. You support Ipob. You support Igbo people. You support Peter Obi. No. It's about equity. If you don't want them, let them go.
Yeah.
It's like a father having multiple wives, which is common in the West. I mean, I can speak for the West. If a man has multiple wives, and the children of a particular wife, they feel like they're not loved as much as the others. Okay, they might have been naughty in the past, they might have done 1 or 2 things, like any child. Children are naughty anyway. And it is the responsibility of the parent to say, okay, to reintegrate them, to say, okay, you've done wrong, but you're one of us. But it's you don't have anything. You see a lot of Yoruba people, not everybody now, I don't talk in absolute, but you see a lot of Yoruba people and a lot of people from the north, especially northwest and northeast, saying an Igbo man can never be president.
Yeah.
In absolute terms, can never be president of Nigeria. We will make sure you're never president. So in one hand, you're telling them they are not fully part of us. On the other hand, you're telling them they cannot go. The last time I was in Nigeria, I was speaking to my sister who married an Ibadan man. And Ibadan, if you know anything about Ibadan people, even when an Ibadan person becomes born again, their mouth never becomes born again. So much loosely, she just said, oh, Koshe Judanu. She said it with the Ibadan accent, which translates to, it's a piece of meat, maybe like mussels, the tough one. You can't eat it, but you don't want to throw it away. Like, what do you do with it? That's the way we're treating the Igbos in Nigeria. It's not good enough, but it's not bad enough to get rid of. What exactly is it? If you don't want them, by all means, let them go. You said they're useless, then get rid of them. Let them go. What's the problem? Let them have a referendum. Exactly. Let them have a referendum. For all you care, they might even have the vote, and you might be surprised that they might vote to remain. As stupid as that sounds, because if someone told the Scottish people that they were going to lose the referendum, they would have laughed and said, no, we're going to vote. But the Scottish people vote, a majority said, we want to be part of the United Kingdom, and they remained. Let them have this vote. What are we afraid of? Let them go. There's no point holding them. And also, the southeastern governors, the leaders, the politicians. See, Nigeria is just like what the colonizers did to us. They picked the worst of us to rule us. Nigeria, this nonsense handshake they talk about across the Niger. Nigeria from northwest, northeast, and southwest, they would form alliance with the worst Igbo politicians. Those are their friends. Tomorrow, if you give these people, what's this man that AFCC jumped his window before the APC election? Rochas. You they like him and he speaks a bit of Igbo, Hausa. So they like Rochas. If you give them the choice of Rochas to be Nigeria's president under APC, and you woke Awolowo up and say Awolowo under SDP or whatever party, they will tell you reasons why Rochas is better. Because Rochas is somebody they can control. I'm talking about Southwest and the North. They will tell you Rochas is a better choice than Awolowo. They would always go for the worst amongst you and form alliance with them and tell you, oh, Rochas understands politics. What has the politics he understood? How has it benefited their people? Look at Amici. They've used him and dumped him. When Amici he went to Daura in Buhari's place, they turban him. The one big thing they put on his head, they give him the highest title of a non-indigene. He built a railway to Niger Republic, where Buhari said his cousins live, because Buhari said it's from Niger. He didn't say it's from Niger, he just said my cousins live in Niger, they are Nigerians. And he said, if I leave and if people disturb me, I will return to Niger. So Buhari has links with Niger. Amechi built a railway to Niger, not to the east. Where is Amechi today? If he makes noise in River State, they will lock him up and nothing will happen.
Wow.
So all these Igbo leaders, they are the real Ifulefus. I don't know what that means, but I know that any Igbo man that they don't like someone like Rudolph, is always called Ifulefu. All these Igbo politicians are the real Ifulefus. They don't talk for their people. How many Igbo politicians do we have in the National Assembly? I understand it's one of the reasons why you want 6 states, 7 states, like the Northwest, like the Southwest, to have equality. But I can tell you, KJ and Rudolph, the Igbo people on this panel, if you get 8 states and you have the most members in the National Assembly, they still won't speak for you. They will not speak for you. The ones that are there, what are they saying? It's a different conversation to say we want more states so that we can, start leading conversations in the National Assembly. If you had 1 or 2 speaking for you, who is speaking for you when they're there? They pick the view and the National Assembly. These people are the real Ifulefus, and to the Igbo people as well. Even within this Ipob thing, there's Ipob on one side. They are fighting the Brig people. You will see Orabweze camp. They are fighting the Ipob people. You are not friends with Nnamdi Kanu. We are the lawyer. They can't even be united. Even the people that are agitating, they remind me of the nonsense thought force that they did in 2019. Wasted my time. Fela Durotoye. They can when small people can't even come together and be united, then you start to wonder what's the. Sometimes I feel like giving up on Nigerian matter and just face.
Please don't. Sure, please.
No, of course. I'm not. That's why I'm here. But
yes.
Sometimes of the people that want to make change, they can't even agree.
Okay. Good. You said quite a lot. But one thing. If you understood the meaning of Efulefu, I'm sure you will stop using it. Efulefu means someone who is useless. Useless.
Are your governors not useless? Okay. When it comes to the cause of Igbo people, not in terms of governance, I don't live in the East, I don't know what they do. But in terms of the cause of the Igbo people, are they not useless?
Okay.
All right, we have to arrest show now. We have to talk to some
DSS.
DSS.
Nobody is doing any arrest.
My governor,
nobody's going to do any arrest
now. We will
now.
show you. We own Nigeria.
Okay, let's move on. Now, KJ, let me come to you. KJ, if you don't want them, let them go. Shaw said that about 2 or 3 times. KJ, if I ask you, what is your interpretation of that? What is in your estimation, in your assessment, do you think that the Southeasterner is better in Nigeria or outside Nigeria? I want you to give us a holistic overview of whether Nigeria serves as a living space for the average Southeasterner, or is there some form of, should they live, should they exist?
Okay, Mr. Chukuma, thank you again for having me and this panel. Let me say this, and I totally agree with what Sho has said. If you don't want them, let them go. I'll answer that for you as one very northern politician who used to be a retired army officer said. Do you allow a conquered people? The East is.
Thank you so much for watching the program. I appreciate you for your patience to watch from beginning to end. I hope you have learned a lot from this very program that I just played, this video. Please like and share the video. Share to all platforms. After sharing the video, now you can go to the comment section and put down your comments. Whatever suggestions, contributions you have to make, what you think about the video I just played, go to the comment section and put your comment. I will go through the comment section, and I bet you I am learning a lot from there, and you can equally learn from there. Let us share our experience on that comment section. Thank you so much, and stay blessed. Don't forget to share, and we continue to bless you as you share. Biafra government, peace, progress, unity, and equity. We move airborne.